Hello my Patreon friends, and I hope you're well this week, and I hope you've had a good week, and I hope you're looking forward to your weekend. I hope that's a relaxing weekend, and I also hope that you're going to answer this week's trivia question. Before we get to that, let me also tell you there's obviously HiFi news. There will be, I don't know, 8 or 9 I think, and at the end of that, stay tuned for an any other business thing. I want to show you. I've bought something and I want to show you. I want to see if you know what it is, because it's a bit of a strange one. Anyway, just call me Mr. Mysterious. Hey, anyway, trivia. And for this week's trivia question, we're changing the subject a bit. We're looking at taking a holiday, and we're taking a holiday in LA. And the question relating to Los Angeles is this: what was the collective name given to the Los Angeles session musicians who played on all of the great records of Phil Spector, the Beach Boys, and Glenn Campbell? One more time, what was the collective name given to the Los Angeles session musicians who played on all of the great records of Phil Spector, the Beach Boys, and Glenn Campbell? Have a little think, and I will tell you at the end of this video. Until then, let's dive into the news. Now I'd like to talk about Orchard Audio's Star Crimson Duo Trio amplifier. Two variants of the same design. The Duo is a dual mono stereo configuration. The Trio is actually triple mono, and it's really aimed more at multi-channel TV viewing. So it'll handle the front 3 channels in a home theater setup, as well as a 2.1 system. The pulse depth modulation, or the PDM, is performed completely in the analog domain for this amplifier before being amplified by gallium nitride power stages to offer, says the company, who seems to like this type of design, greater transparency and detail. Star Crimson amplifiers use Orchard Audio's own DC-coupled, fully balanced dual feedback modulator, which allows the amplifier to be balanced from input to output. The design is packaged in an aluminium and steel chassis with gold-plated binding posts and connectors. Now, Orchard Audio is offering a deal price of $1,399.95 for the Duo. For the Trio, you're looking at $2,249.95. These prices may change because it's a bit of an offer thing, and from memory, I think it'll do a currency conversion if you just buy from the Orchard website. I'll put a link down below if you want to do that. Next, we have a couple of powered speaker designs from Klipsch. You're looking at the R40PM and the R50PM. Now, these speakers replace the R41PM and the R51PM. And I don't know about you, but I find that a bit backwards, because if you're replacing the R41, say, don't you think you'd have the R42? Going back to the R40 seems backwards. I don't know what you think about that. Tell me in the comments. Anyway, to the design. Hey, Klipsch has promised lower bass on these models by increasing the cabinet depths of the new models. So the 70-watt R40PM is 28% deeper than the outgoing model, and the 120-watt R50PM adds 27%. Let's get this right. Hey, height and width stay the same. Both models also feature a new, larger edge-to-edge Tactrix horn design. Other features include a dynamic bass EQ that optimizes bass performance in real time, Connections, well, you've got Bluetooth, there's optical, RCA, USB, and there's a 3.5mm auxiliary, and you get a built-in phono amplifier. Prices, well, for the R40PM, you're looking at either £499 or €549 or $499. For the R50PM, and you're looking at £599 or €649 or $599. Next up is the Project V1T phono cable, which is not from Project. It's actually from the Japanese company called Furutech, but they call it the Project. So the Project V1T tone-arm cable features a trio of hybrid silver OCC conductors with 4-layer shielding and a detachable external ground wire. It also features a clamp to lower distortion, plus Furutech's own NCF technology. The cable has also been cryogenically treated, it's been demagnetized, everything you can think of basically, this cable has had it, which is why it's a high-end, high-priced item at £3,995. Two items now from the Italian company Goldnote, and first up we have a new power supply dedicated to the PH5 phono amp. The PSU5 is aimed at upgrading that product. The design includes a linear power supply and it features a 2-transformer circuit for that linear power supply. It also includes dedicated transformers custom made in Italy. In addition to that, it features an inductive filter to prevent noise and interference from the AC power grid. Price is £599. Now, some of you will be familiar with the company's CD1000 CD player, and that has been upgraded now. It's called the CD1000 Mark II Deluxe DSD. It features a superlinear dual mono supply, a Bear Brown PCM 1792A DAC chip. It's a balanced design as well, with RCA and XLR outputs, coax optical inputs, and a coax output. USB-B supports up to DSD256 and PCM up to 32-bit 384 kHz. Price is £5,400. Off to the States now, and the Wilson Audio Sasha 5. Now, if you're in the know about this range, you will recognize that this design stems back to what was called the Watt/Puppy, which launched in 1985. Superseding the Sasha DAW, the Sasha 5 incorporates technology developed for the Alex 5 and the Alexia 5. This is a modular design with separate upper mid-range treble and lower bass enclosures. The upper enclosure, that features Wilson's Convergent Synergy Carbon Treble Driver and I think it's the Alnico Quadramag mid-range driver. The lower enclosure includes a pair of 200mm bass drivers, and the sidewalls of this lower enclosure, well, they are 25% thicker than the Sasha DAW. The enclosures are also built from Wilson Audio's own vibration-resistant X material and also S material composites. And they have their own cabling. They make their own cables, so that's inside as well. These speakers are finished in Wilson Audio's automotive class paint facility. The Sasha 5 is now available for, take a deep breath, £53,998 per pair. Oh, and that includes installation, so thank goodness for that, hey. Next, we're looking at Wharfedale and the Elysian 3 Compact, and we'll get to that, floor standard. Now, the Elysian 3 floor standards take the three-way, four-driver design of the Elysian 4 and deliver it in a slightly shrunken form, I would say. They span 105 centimeters by 26 by 29, and the Elysian is 11% shorter than its big brother, but it's a third less wide and a third less deep. Yet it delivers the same combination of driver, crossover and cabinet engineering. You get a 27 by 90 millimeter AMT, that's motion transformer treble drivers, and they combine with a 150 millimeter mid-range unit and two 180 millimeter bass drivers. Oh, and the bass and mid-range diaphragms are formed from a woven glass fiber matrix for low mass and high strength. The bass drivers are loaded, incidentally, by a sort of slot effect called an SLPP, slot loaded profiled port. It's a sort of a vent at the bottom of the cabinet, so that makes positioning of these speakers a lot easier. Price for these speakers, £5,999. Cables now from Poland, from Melodika, called the MDU-AC Purple Rain. This is the latest cable from the Polish brand. It's a USB-A to USB-C data cable, and it arrives with the usual purple outer PVC insulation. The MDU-AC, which really trips off the tongue, doesn't it, is built with two pairs of twisted wires, one for transmission and the other for power. The data transmission line is separated and has its own shielding, which minimizes external interference. Triple shielding consisting of two mylar foil layers and tin-plated copper braid reduces electrical noise and electromagnetic interference, or EMI, and prevents crosstalk between the two neighboring wires. You can buy this particular cable, well, it comes in all kinds of lengths, but for a typical 1 meter length, you're looking at £48. Next up, well, I'm not too sure how you pronounce this. I think it's WiiM. Now, Nintendo had the Wii. This particular product says Wii, but also adds an M at the end. I'll put the name below. Anyway, WiiM, I'm going to say. And this is a UK company. I think it's owned by a larger company, maybe in the States. But this particular office is based in Oxfordshire in the UK. And it's a young company. It has two products. It has the WiiM Mini and the WiiM Pro, and they're kind of hockey puck shaped little bricks, and they provide 24-bit 192 kilohertz capable streaming, and they have features like Amazon Music, Apple AirPlay 2, Bluetooth, Qobuz, Tidal Connect, Spotify Connect, that kind of thing. The Pro's additional features include Ethernet and Chromecast audio, plus the ability to group with Nest speakers and also to work with Alexa Multiroom with UHD. WiiM, the company, has also announced that the Pro version has achieved Roon Ready certification. The idea of these products is that they are smart in networking terms. And so you connect them to a sort of dumb product, dumb in networking terms, like a basic turntable. And then you can shift data to and from the turntable or whatever it might be, old amplifier, whatever it might be. So for example, you can stream audio from a WiiM connected turntable to a WiiM linked sound system. There's also an associated app and you can control the whole setup, and you can corral all your music services on there. You can synchronize music to multiple devices. You can set music alarms. You can add multiple EQ options. There's all kinds of presets and tonal bass treble adjustments and all that kind of thing. Prices, well, for the basic WiiM, you're looking at £89. For the Pro version, £149. Final news item is another cable. This is from the Chord Company, and they tell me that their Shoreline cables have been upgraded. It's the latest Chord Company cable to benefit from the performance-enhancing dielectric. Shoreline's upgrade follows the Signature X and the Epic X array interconnects earlier this year. Built with silver-plated conductors, complex layers of shielding, the Shoreline X array can also be bought with a variety of terminations, RCA, DIN, XLR. These are Chord's own core alloy terminations. Prices, well, for a half-meter stretch of interconnect, you're looking at £210. That's your news. Any other business is next. So, before we go, have you seen this LP before? I have just bought it, and as you can see, it's a tribute to Deep Purple by a band called Funky Junction, or if you're sitting in Germany, The Rock Machine, apparently. I'm not really a fan of Deep Purple. I know a lot of people are. I'm not really. I appreciate them, but I'm not a fan. So, why did I buy this? Well, this is a rather rare outing and a rather early outing for the band itself. This LP was released in 1973 on the Stereo Gold Award label. 2 points of note. Firstly, you can see here that the production was done in the US, and then they shipped over, apparently, the vinyl to the UK, and there it was bagged. It was placed in a sleeve. And that, I find, is an interesting point. But the main reason I bought this LP is that Funky Junction is essentially Thin Lizzy, and I do like Thin Lizzy. So you're looking at Phil Lynott, Brian Downey, and Eric Bell. Now apparently, so I hear, the label were not that impressed with Phil Lynott's vocals. Well, they were impressed, but they didn't think he was deep purpley enough. So they drafted in a different singer, a guy called Benny White, who Brian Downey, Thin Lizzy man, he saw as a bit of a Ian Gillan clone. Plus the keyboard player, Dave Lennox, and both of those guys, they came from a hard rock band called Elmer Fudd. So you had a bit of a mix. You had a couple of guys from Elmer Fudd, and you had 3 guys from Thin Lizzy, and they were Funky Junction. Now, Thin Lizzy as a band were not madly keen to do this particular LP, but, well, they needed the cash at the time. And also, this album didn't take a long time to do. In fact, they finished it in a single day, and you could pick it up in Woolworths for the magnificent sum of 50 pence. Oh, and that band you see on the cover, it's not Thin Lizzy, and it's not Elmer Fudd, and it actually isn't Funky Junction. It's a band called Hard Stuff. Hard Stuff actually featured John DeCan. He was in Atomic Rooster, and neither Hard Stuff or John DeCan or even Atomic Rooster had anything to do with this project. There was a connection though, because they were on the same label as Deep Purple. So there was a distant connection. Oh, I do love these tangled tales. Now, before we go, I think you need an answer to the trivia question, hey? And that question is, what was the collective name given to the Los Angeles session musicians who played on all of the great records of Phil Spector, the Beach Boys, and Glenn Campbell? And the answer is the Wrecking Crew, the group of musicians which included bassist Carol Kay, drummer Hal Blaine, pianist Larry Netchell, and guitarist Tommy Tedesco, among many others, were referred to the Wrecking Crew, allegedly in recognition of the fact that the older generation of Hollywood pros thought they would wreck the music business. So now you know. And that's it, folks. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this particular episode. And I hope you enjoyed that Any Other Business. It's a bit of a strange one, hey? So I'll be back this time next week. Oh, and I do apologize that there wasn't a HiFi news last week. I was so wrapped up in launching my new website. If you haven't seen it, please do check it out. It's rather swish, even though I say so myself. So yeah, that's why there wasn't one last week, but there will be one next week. So hope to see you then. Until then, folks, bye bye for now.